because, dude, I got to see The Foreigner starring Jackie Chan, and we're all familiar with Jackie Chan action
I'm
movies,
not gonna
man. He
front.
gets in and
I'm
what's
not
that?
gonna front. The title threw me off. I was like, hold on, what?
The Foreigner.
Yeah, I'm like,
Okay, Jackie
I
Chan.
kind of dug it. This one, just from the trailers and everything, kind of looked like a gritty Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan's
Yeah.
got obviously he's well respected and renowned for his abilities, but his movies are kind of a little campy.
Yep.
Too. They were like a little too slapstick, you know. But this one looked like he was doing some really, really gritty, hardcore revenge type stuff, which I haven't really seen him do much of. So this movie really excited me.
Oh,
I
totally,
mean, it
totally.
looked like
And
that
then-
to me too, man. I'm thinking, he looked like Charles Bronson in here. Like he about
Right.
to break out the
Right.
revolver.
Well, you might be surprised, man, when he got up on stage and did that version of what was it? What was that song?
Yeah.
Andy?
Okay. No, Jackie Chan, you're right. This would have been a vehicle that would have been right in line with like an old Clint Eastwood movie or an old
It's
Charles
like a new
Bronson movie.
Liam Neeson movie.
Yes,
you know what I
that's
mean?
exactly
And
what I thought.
They just got make their roles mixed up.
And I was very surprised because you think Jackie Chan does more lighthearted fare. I've never seen him as more of a downplayed, I won't say cerebral, but I'll just say like very a mentally focused character.
But he's like a Charlie Chaplin, but with kung fu when he beat you up. You know what I mean? Like he's
Damn,
he's like a clown almost. You know what I mean?
I've
Like,
never
Minus
heard
the
of-
Hitler stash.
You know what? I've never heard it put like that, but it makes sense.
I like
I'll go with you on that. This had Jackie Chan playing Quan. He's a father who's very protective of his daughter. They live in London, and he's taking her to one of her several activities. You know, he's basically kind of overprotective, but also a deep family man who's like, I acknowledge she has to find her way in the world. I just want to make sure I hold her hand while I do it. But the second he lets go, bam, disaster strikes.
shouldn't have
And-
done that. I knew. Yeah.
And this movie takes a turn from this movie about this film about this doddering old man who just can't let go to this badass who, I mean, y'all have no idea the wrong side of the person to get on. Because it becomes like Rambo mixed with every Death Wish movie.
That's what I'm talking
Mixed
about.
with-
I'm sorry.
It
Yeah.
sounds
Mixed
like
with
the
Taken.
premise of
like
that
Taken.
guy, Leslie Nielsen or whatever.
Liam Neeson. I just said
Liam
Taken.
Neeson,
yeah.
Yeah, Leslie Neeson in
33 to third.
Getting all sorts of names mixed up this show.
Oh no,
It's
you're
wrong.
right.
Dennis Hopper. We'll just get this.
This would have been right in line with the Liam Neeson movie Taken to 11. All right, and I love the fact that in this picture, Pierce Brosnan plays against type. Normally, we see Pierce Brosnan as a really smooth guy,
Reserve
or
type.
or a guy that he's playing his role more for laughs. Like I seem like kind of the guy who's really put together, but instead I'm gonna do some really whacked out stuff,
Yep.
and it's still gonna be badass. And this, he's like very unhinged. You know, he's like, well, he's a guy who's trying to play his role as a proper politician, but he's a politician with IRA roots.
Oh.
You know, so he's really trying to play like I'm diplomatic and such, but in the background he's like, no, I want him dead. I want his father dead. I want his mother dead. I want his kids dead. I want his dog dead. You know, he's one of those.
Gotcha.
And it was very
Was
surprising.
that your
because
Al
both of
Capone
these-
from The Untouchables?
I couldn't think of a line that
Yeah.
would go along. I mean, what's Pierce Brosnan going to say? I want his Aston Martin dead. I want his tea dead. I want his crumpets dead.
I
You know
want
what
to
I mean?
date Mrs. Doubtfire's wife.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I applaud the performances on this. And then when you realize you're supposed to be rooting for Jackie Chan, but for most of this, he's not the bad guy, but he does everything a bad guy would do.
Yes.
And this was completely left field, and I loved it. Because, I mean, he's like hunting dudes in the woods. He's doing like the Rambo, self-wound stuff.
Yeah.
And it all comes from this kind of doddering old man who... Now, this was one thing. This is a legitimate complaint I have because I've mentioned he's old several times in this because that's how they paint him. He's kind of limping, kind of, very slowly ambulating through most of this movie, and you see, okay, he's an enfeebled senior citizen. Yet once it's time, once you throw him in an action scene, suddenly he's like whipping hands all over the place. He's, catching suckers with the elbow. He's kicking folks downstairs. He's jumping out windows. And then once it's over, okay, now I'm back to being the oh, I can't really stand. I'm an old man. You gotta understand. I'm an old citizen who can barely speak English and such. And it's the duality didn't really match, and I blame that on the script itself. Because it seemed like, the script and the director. Not that it was bad. I did enjoy this, but it takes you out of it when it stops being believable for an awesome fight scene. And that's a problem for me, because this was a great performance by Jackie Chan, and then a different type of great performance by Jackie Chan, but both of them didn't mesh. Outside of the action scenes, I really bought him as a concerned dad who's distraught over the loss of his daughter. And that's not a spoiler. That's in the trailer. You know this is his motivation, and he just wants the names of these people who are responsible for the death of his daughter. And his quest in getting the names it's unintentionally hilarious, because everything he does has that quirk of, okay, look, I did something really badass, but just so you know, I'm leaving this little clue that you know it could have been exponentially more badass. And it was funny. Every time it's just like, oh, he blew that up. But then he leaves a note saying, I could have blown this much up too. And I want to leave you a little hint. Like, my favorite scene in this, and I'm gonna spoil the scene. Screw it. Is he sets off a car bomb and injures a dude. When they investigate the wreckage, they find a note that he left and a separate detonator that he set, where it would have caused an explosion that's like 10 times bigger. That would have taken out like a city block. Just let them know I can do this. Give me the names. And the whole movie was like that, including Pierce Brosnan's a guy that normally we like Pierce Brosnan. When he's James Bond, he's smooth. We like him. We root for him. Even as you mentioned, Mrs. Doubtfire earlier, he plays a guy that we're not supposed to be on the side of, but he's charming. And he's British. He's British. You can't befuddle. He's so British. Even though he's what, Scottish, Irish.
Yeah.
He's one of those.
One of them.
Well, I didn't. Okay, my research was shoddy before the show.
He's a foreigner.
He's a foreigner taking on a different. No, this whole movie is deeply steeped in IRA politics, and then you introduce a foreign special forces agent who they shouldn't have messed with, and the whole thing becomes an IRA, not even an IRA, a national.
Basically, a movie that's been done a bunch of times.
No. I mean, the premise,
sounds
the premise
like
of
every
a father's
action
quest
movie
for
in the
revenge.
90s I've ever seen.
The premise is a father's quest for revenge. The politics in this were very unique to this. I haven't seen anything like this since maybe Michael Collins, starring, ironically enough, the aforementioned Liam Neeson. So it was a unique take. We're not used to seeing a movie with an American special forces guy who's blatantly Japanese, straight from Asia, speaks with that thick-ass accent, but he's fighting in London. And then in Ireland. And then he's hunting people through the woods, but it's really a marsh. And he's fighting a guy who was trained in... It was all over the place. Yeah, and you know what? That worked theoretically. In practice, I enjoyed this movie immensely. It was very entertaining, but don't expect any kind of realism in the writing, because I think it may have been written by someone who was either really amateurish or just kind of didn't give a mess about actual fluidity, and really just wanted to write an action movie with a serious premise. I would give this a thumbs up, but that caveat is just heavily looming over this. It's going to entertain. It's a departure performance for Pierce Brosnan that I think he actually does well, even though his accent was kind of spotty. A lot of twists and turns and backstabbing left and right. The backstabbing was beautiful.
All right.
But the direction might throw you off. So keep that in mind. But I would definitely recommend cats check this out as maybe a second or third choice. But, dude, thumbs up. Absolutely.
I think Pierce Brosnan's an overlooked actor. I don't think he gets enough respect. I like his stuff.
I think he's gotten his. James Bond kind of pigeonholed him.
I don't think he's gotten his.
I think it goes back to what you just said, P. If he got the respect that I believe what Adam is saying, where if so, I agree. If he did get that respect, you would have been as shocked with his range. Because I feel that he's been pigeonholed, without a doubt. I mean, most of the good stuff I've seen Brosnan in is just kind of same old stuffy British guy. smooth, might throw a little slapstick in it. But
Yeah,
you're
he did
telling me he has range in just this one film alone.
Yeah.
You saw range with his acting. So I mean, hey.
Yeah, he did a movie, The Matador, a few years ago with Greg Kinnear.
Yeah, I
thought it was
remember
so
that. That was
great,
the one
yeah.
where he was
was
less
the-
of a serious.
No, he was the hitman, but he was also like an alcoholic, depressed guy.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And helping out a friend. It was pretty good.
I
So.
don't like when my voice got
Yeah.
all falsetto. It's like, yeah, it was.
Yeah, he was fantastic. I know you liked it that much, yeah.
All right, but The Foreigner starring Jackie Chan and Pierce Brosnan. Thumbs up. Remember, kids, don't get your Brosnan pierced. All right. All right, now, Adam.
I'm thinking about that one still. Yeah.
Don't
I like
do
it.
Maybe I